Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn, and I'm Shawn. Happy 4th of July. Maybe happy 5th of July. You're saying, huh? Well, you'd be understanding if you're watching the show on Tuesday. So anyway, the show will be ready. This is Thursday. We are doing our thing. As far as the posting of the show, check the website. You know where to find it as far as all things that concern Shawn. So look to that area for further guidance as to whether, of course, it being the holiday and the weekend, a lot of people taking off. I don't want to say Monday for certain and it not be. So just take a look there. Okay, now let's get down to the rest of this show that you're watching. Irregardless of whether it's going to be Monday or Tuesday, I hope you have had an amazing, amazing weekend. Eaten some great food, had some great camaraderie with friends and relatives and whatnot, and so you know, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good place. I getting other business taken care of that had hung over my head for a long time, and like I had discussed with you guys before, since a lot of you mentioned it in your comments about moving, and you know, that's going to be a little bit down the road, but it's probably a situation that we're empty nesters. We have a big house, and it might be the right time to do that as far as market conditions go and whatnot. And, you know, what's made me realize that, as if the universe wasn't telling us enough, that with my illness and still suffering from long hauler COVID, and then wow, with how I saw how the small but mighty Raven was just taken down with double pneumonia in a matter of days, and you know, mentally she is she is raring to go. So you know how they give you and send you home if you had breathing things, that little thing you blow into to see how far you can blow the little diaphragm up on the plastic thing, you know. Hate to see what they actually charge. When my mom, I know I'm sidestepping for a moment, but when my mom had cancer, this is 30 years ago, and she would get the bills, and she would make them line itemized cost every single thing. She ended up seeing $8 aspirin. The little white towel they give you, you know, $27 they would charge for it, and she told me that little plastic blow thing, because she ended up with one too, was over $50, and you're talking 30 years ago. So she challenged them, and they cut the prices down, but of course that was my mom. So remember, she has an Asian, a Chinese heritage to her, being born in Shanghai, that carried over in a lot of positive ways, that fiery spirit. So, you know, Raven doesn't have anything but good old, you know, Ohio Valley blood in her, and she has always been small but mighty, and it's really what's getting her a quick recovery. But we did the little blowing thing, and she did hers, and I did mine, and you know, even with having had COVID, I like doubled her amount. So I said, girl, you got a ways to go. Harry agrees. Let's get going with the comments and the trivia answers. Now, this is, you know, we did 3 trivia questions, and excuse me, because I put the questions already down here, but look at how organized I have to be. Everything around me, because no Raven to help me. Wine. As Raven would say, you want a little cheese with that? Okay, so the questions were, what is the name of the sparking effect of certain minerals, including some sphalerites, and wintergreen lifesavers, and peeling band-aids, and whatnot? Answer, triboluminescence. And you do not have to spell any of that correctly. Just spell it kind of like, get close to it. And I will understand that you knew the word close enough and the meaning close enough. Second question was, what uncommon element is found in danburite? Now this threw 1 or 2 off. What uncommon element is found in danburite? In danburite, not on or a part of. So the answer was basically, I was looking for what uncommon element was found in its chemical composition. But I try not to make it sound too, chemistry class-like. So, but maybe I should have, because that could lead to interpretations if Damberite was one of those stones that had a lot of other minerals that grew in it, like quartz or sapphire does and things like that. So answer being, as part of its chemical makeup, you don't hear about it too often, the element boron, which I think is kind of unusual because Damberite has some beautiful, clear, very clear. And, I've sold incredible gemstones. A lot of you have bought faceted gemstones of Damberite because it's got a good hardness to it. And I think it's pretty neat. Named after Danbury, Connecticut, where it was first discovered, and which is now underneath the original location, underneath the city streets of Danbury, unfortunately. So, the other thing I always think about boron when I think about uses, of course, and data that is, for some real exciting, and, it's information for others that's kind of boring. Well, you, being part of the family and liking these kind of things, would find it very interesting. It is an impurity in the Hope diamond, elementally, atom-wise, one part, because remember, diamond is only pure carbon, right? So there's no other combination or any other elements in diamond but carbon. That's it. So when I say it is an impurity within the crystal structure of the Hope diamond, of one atom of boron per million atoms of carbon, that make it phosphoresce and an incredible red color. So it will it has a amazing fluorescence of red under shortwave light, I believe it is shortwave, and it is the impurity of boron at the rate of 1 million to 1 that will give the Hope diamond. And I've seen pictures of the red, and it is a stunning, from steel blue to red under the correct wavelength. Quite fascinating. So that's just a little tidbit on boron. All right, now let's see. Then question number 3 was galena, pyrite, and sphalerite have what element in common? And if you got close and said sulfates or sulfides or anything that sounded like sulfur is because the question was what element, not what molecule. So those, if you actually said sulfide or sulfate, you're talking about, in like the case of sulfate, like SO4 or SO3. In other words, it is a molecule made up of sulfur and oxygen in some cases. Simple S with a 2 or 3, that could be a sulfide. So without having to have another element, but it's still a molecule because it's part of the entire structure of what would be considered a pyrite molecule, and that would require the combination of 2 or 3 atoms of sulfur. But anyway, sulfide, sulfate, sulfurous, anything like that, I'm going to take the answer, because I know that is, for what we're doing here, certainly close enough and gives you still a very strong sense of knowledge, knowing that much. Okay, so those were the questions. Here we go. Starting from the first person that would have posted, and then time-wise going forward. All right, so it is Harry. Good afternoon, dear Raven, Shawn, and Asif and Dave, as well as the whole GSN gang, and to all the happy fans. Clients and rockhounds out there, I pray all are well and blessed. See, Shawn, Asif is such a great person in your life and always will be there for you, and it's nice to hear you are in good hands spiritually. Make sure to reach out to him. Double pneumonia, holy cow. Make sure the medical team keeps monitoring her healing. Will come fast. My pneumonia was getting better without my doctor's view, but he was looking at another problem. Under my pneumonia was found a 3 millimeter non-small cell carcinoma, and I thought my life was over. Look, I made it through my cancer, lost the left lung in the process. Yeah, the whole thing. Shawn, asbestos is so toxic. Put that in a sealed bag and be careful in your hands. Go wash your hands. My lawyers have a case for me, and asbestos is the culprit. Be careful. Absolutely, it is indeed. And now I help people to understand why. When you see the fibers and, that or powdered can certainly, as we know, cause issues, but it was such and is such a great fire retardant and heat. I don't know. Well, put it this way: it makes early on. Now I'm talking about when I was in the 70s and using torches. The gloves that we used then were asbestos mittens, and I'm telling you what, you could put the torch right on those things, and it just completely fire retardant, heat retardant, that kind of thing. It really worked well, and then they took that away from us, rightfully so, though, rightfully so. But it was a good product. Yeah, so I keep it actually right here. Look, it's not far away. There it is. I keep it in a sealed plastic container. You should see what I do with my U-238. Okay, you guys know, I'm out there on the edge. And all for the education of all of you. I risk myself, indeed. Okay, please tackle Raven and not let her back to work too early. Tackle her with love and give her your all. And as usual, I got to cut it short. I got another gem and rock and mineral show to get ready for. This one in Gilson, New Hampshire by Keen. Oh, Keen, great. I love Keen. Keen's a dredge maker. And it's a 2-day event. Woohoo. Maybe I will make enough to buy the sapphire ring. I'm sure it's sold already. I will go check. LOL. Boy, this is a fast-paced week. I will have to jump right into the trivia. Question 1. Additional unusual element in melanite. Okay, so titanium. This was last week, but great comments anyway. And so we'll move forward. Now, last week, well, Harry addresses it. Okay, next we have Miss Cindy. Hello, Rock family. Shawn, I am so happy to hear that the Raven is feeling better. It is wonderful that she is spunky enough to want to go back to work. Thank you so much for the freshwater pearl necklace as the trivia prize. Okay, so remember the magic about this show. Guess who has a freshwater pearl bracelet that it is an exact match to? Can you believe that? That of all the people to win the necklace, she actually happened to have a bracelet that matched it and didn't have the necklace. Insert the Twilight Zone theme music. I would definitely agree. Of course, as a huge Twilight Zone fan. Wonderful show and specimens, but I say that every week because it's true. Trivia. Getting the triboluminescence right. And on number 2. And this is where, for number 3, sulfides, close enough, getting that part right. But this is where, of course, when I said what other element is in, let me check my notes. That's why I write them down. What uncommon, here we go, on what, number 2, question number 2. What uncommon element is found in danburite? So even if you were thinking about another mineral included in it, because we talked about that dadolite and calcite were 2 crystals found on the danburite, but even if there was some found in the danburite crystal, which is a possibility, The question was, what element? So datalite would be an incorrect answer there as well, because datalite is a mineral made up of molecules. Molecules are made up of 2 or more elements. So, yeah, again, you got to listen to well, I don't ever try to really, only maybe sometimes, once in a while, every other week, fool you. But if you listen carefully, the answer, or you'll have a lot better chance of answering the question correctly. All right, so 2 out of 3. Ain't bad. Is that a song? Everybody have a wonderful week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Next, Miss Ursula. Shawn, hello, and wishing you, as well as Miss Raven, a relaxing evening. We had a number of small thunderstorms crossing the Florida Peninsula this afternoon, and unfortunately, the resulting cool down was short-lived. Yikes. Yes, believe me, I have done my time in Florida. And, you know, the afternoon thunderstorms are a wonderful tropical environment, but I mean, the sun would come back out, and you know, all it did was cool it down very temporarily and then raise the humidity up. But anymore, that is absolutely no different than Georgia. Georgia has gotten so hot, and lately though, we haven't even gotten much thunderstorms, but it doesn't matter. We just get the heat and humidity, and it can come off the multiple lakes up here. There's enough water around any time for it to be humid, and I don't know. The older I get, you know, there's a lot of good rock hunting to be done in Maine, and I have actually traveled and spent a lot of time there over my years. So, yeah, you never know. And New Hampshire, wow. Great pegmatites, great granites in New Hampshire. Just saying. All right. Next we have, since English, okay, so, Miss Ursula. Triboluminescence is the name of the sparkling effect that some minerals possess, but that it actually works on wintergreen candy is something you might add to the conversation the next time you get together with your friends, LOL. Boron is the name of the uncommon element in danburite, while lead is the other element which is associated with galena, pyrite, as well as sphalerite. Okay, well, you were on a roll there, Miss Ursula, until lead. You got lead right. If it was associated with galena, it is a lead ore, but what is the common element associated with the 3 is galena is a lead sulfide, pyrite is an iron sulfide, and sphalerite is a zinc sulfide. So, again, let me check my notes. Galena, pyrite, and sphalerite have what element? Element in common. So, again, I was looking for an element, not a molecule, so technically sulfide or sulfate wouldn't work. But, as long as it was anything to do with sulfur, I accepted it as a correct answer, because that is what the 3 different ores have in common, is sulfur, and not even sulfur and oxygen, just sulfur. So, but that is something that you need to know, because remember, the process of smelting and all, sulfur is what combines with oxygen in the atmosphere and eventually comes down as part of acid rain. And what it does is it creates of course, extremely diluted sulfuric acid. And so that, if you ever wondered, you know, and I'm sure all of you have heard about acid rain, and if you ever wondered actually the damage that it can do, go up and take Highway 64 from Tennessee, East Tennessee, over into western North Carolina. And you will go through what is Ducktown and Copper Hill. And the mining pretty much ceased after the World War II ended. But prior to that, there is miles and miles of mining shafts. And if you go and look at that area, when I first, I know exactly when, it was in 1978 when I first was exposed to it. I was only 17 years old, and I was driving from Florida, Sarasota, Florida. My family moved us because they could wherever they wanted to, and my dad could work wherever there was a postal box. So, and they'd like to do that. They like to pile up 6 children and, move. I mean, they did it every, and in Florida we would, in the one nice home for like 6 or 7 years. So those formative years, because there were 6 of us within 10 years. So my younger brother and I, we took at the time my 240Z. I had later sold that Z car, which I still wish I had because it's worth way more than I paid. But I actually drove it for a couple years and sold it. Even then, the price was going up because he stopped making it in 1973, the old 240Z, sporty little car. So he and I took the 240Z, I sold the 240Z, got the big old Jeep with the big tires because I wanted to go rock hunting in East Tennessee. I was from Florida for most of my years. You're limited in your rock hunting, and there's certainly no mountains. I turned country boy redneck really quick when I hit the mountains and got the big old Jeep tires. So anyway, when we first entered, we decided to take the scenic route, and someone like Miss Gabby will know what I'm talking about because she's from, and Miss Peggy, anyone from around this area, and take Highway 64. So we entered along the beautiful, where they held the Olympic kayaking and canoe expositions was along the Ocoee River and going into Parksville and coming along that way. So it's beautiful along there. And so we're coming in 64 though. So I'm telling you, just setting it up. And we come that general vicinity. And we come to the mining town, which I thought Ducktown, Copper Hill, yeah, that sounds kind of mining, but it could just be, a name for, pink leaves and when the settlers first came, and it looks like copper. Remember Copper Hill? Never know. And Ducktown, that didn't sound like a mining town or anything. So, but we get to the town, and it was like all of a sudden, full stop, we were on the moon because there was nothing living. The soil and the hills were laid bare, and I'm talking about bare, no grasses, no anything. And of course, I had to, because this time I'm a goldsmith already. I was a junior going to be a senior in high school, so I was already deep rock hound. And so of course, first I was interested in what rocks I could maybe find around there. But when I realized all that vegetation had been dead for decades, and it was going to take decades more for it to be restored and replanted and brought back to life. And the mining had ceased long before. And this is how long, and it was acid rain because of the sulfur emissions right sitting over this generalized area over the mine. And this was for the war effort more so. So I'm sure a lot of environmental laws, you got to do what you got to do, were bypassed and allowing, certain emissions that they wouldn't allow now. And you can see over there as you saw these massive vents that are in the on the ground, which I had never seen before. But of course, later learning more and more, I understood those massive vents were because and representative of how many miles of tunnels that they were having to vent in the process of the mining that is there. So extensive copper deposits and works right there, creating amazing and terrible acid rain. Also, Clingman's Dome in the Smoky Mountain National Park. You can see just a whole area of dead trees there. Same thing. So, minerals, sulfides have a place in nature that can be devastating when combined with other elements that are there, creating an acidic rain. Little over a long time, it will certainly do the damage. All right, so there's a little bit of sulfur sulfide information for you. Okay, so Miss Ursula goes on to say, since English is my second language, I've learned to bridge those awkward moments when you can't come up with a certain word or phrase. This is in reference to my, when I don't have Raven kind of whisper the word to me, which she has helped me many times. since I've had long haulers and kind of just forgetting words that I always knew. Hence, I've learned to quickly substitute it with another word, and it works most of the time. You and Miss Raven might want to listen to some calming music while you are working, and even as you go to sleep. It's my understanding that certain vibrations are more conducive to healing than others, like 777 hertz. Sending you both nothing but good thoughts and lots of positive energy. Sincerely, Miss Ursula. P.S. The polished pyramid of Indian ruby and fuchsite looks absolutely stunning. And I was wondering what type of specimen you would suggest to place onto it onto, since I'll be presenting it to my granddaughter as a birthday present next month. Thanks for your help. Well, you know, I think what you want to do is show off the pyramid, and so the base should be something austere like black. You know, if you had that black onyx, I think maybe you were lucky enough and odd enough to get that. It would look great on something like that. A slice of jade, you know, anything to, but like that slice of opal that you had, I think that would almost, and the color of that being a tannish color, it would kind of take away from the pyramid, and that's not what you want to do. So if you want to stay natural, I think just go with a straight solid color, and darker better than lighter color, and I think it would look fantastic on there. And a great idea, nonetheless. Mr. Anthony, hello all. Fancy show. Looks to me like you had a few museum specimens. The big guns are out. I hope the Raven is feeling better and back with you soon. I've never experienced the Band-Aid or biting a wintergreen mint to create a sparkly effect. Only bioluminescence in the ocean at night or flushing a toilet on a boat in the dark. Okay. I've been on a bunch of boats and been on my brother's very large yacht, but I never can say that I tried flushing it in the dark to see if it's created bioluminescence. But I have been in Puerto Rico, and I have seen the bioluminescence water off of the coast, and that's for real. That's pretty cool. So answer, he omits because he won just the other week. So he got, okay, triboluminescence. He says he covers the bases. He says boron and datolite. Well, datolite's a mineral made up of many other elements, so we would have had to kick that one out. But you did get the boron part right, so I probably would have credited you. All three are sulfides, lead, zinc, and iron. If correct, omit from any prize, please. So sulfides, yeah, I'll go with that. And so guess what? You would have been one of the few to be able to qualify. Next we have, let me just see. Okay, so we have Mr. Brad. Dear Shawn and Raven, so glad to hear you are recovering. So glad. And greetings to the gem shopping staff, Asif, and the whole Rock family. Happy 4th of July. Shawn, another great show. Answers to the trivia. Tribaluma metamerism. I'm going to take it that Brad maybe was kidding. No, that was a really difficult word. Triboluminescence. So he goes on to say, that's where the color of the spark is one color in the hollows of Georgia and another color up in Brooklyn. LOL. That's funny. The amberite has boron in it. Lead sulfide, iron sulfide, zinc sulfide. Getting them all right. So can't help but to think his tribaluma metamerism was him kidding. But I would have accepted it even if you were really serious, because that was close enough. Did I hear correctly? I sure hope you don't have to move. But if you have a yard sale, let me know and I will schedule a trip down there with a wad of cash. Anyway, may your tribaluma, see, then he says it right. Okay, at the end. So, all right, jokester, there's one in every crowd, and you're it for the show today. Okay, great. All right, just got an update, and that's how it's done. So, Asif puts in a direct line call to Miss Sarah, who handles the posting of the show, and we just got the update. Monday, of course, you're watching the show now, so you know exactly what day it posted. But for me, I feel like I'm doing a breaking news announcement by noon. Great, awesome. So straight on schedule. Everybody will have something or are having something right now to look forward to. So kick back, you're home, relax, eat some food, and enjoy the show. Let's see. I'm hoping I maybe get 2 out of 3 correct since the first answer was just a guess. Oh, come on, Brad. How can it be a guess? Because listen, so he says, did I hear correct? Then he says, anyway, may your triboluminescence be red, white, and blue for this Independence Day. Let the sparks fly. Be well, especially Raven. Very kind of you, Brad. So he knew how to spell it right. Yeah, Brad's one of those. You got to watch him. Clever like a fox. Mr. Harry goes on to say in another post, I don't understand why my email didn't make it submitted it on the 23rd. No big deal. Here's how Raven, man, don't forget to have doctor keep checking her lungs as this clears. Not to make you nervous, but same thing happened to me, and afterwards a little while, my doctor called me back, didn't like what he saw under pneumonia, and more tests revealed cancer. Sorry, Shawn, just don't let the doctor forget to keep testing her. Yep, she actually had to go to her private physician, and they listened to her lungs and did all that stuff. So, on top of it, Harry. Thanks for the reminder, though, indeed. And the email, if you would have sent it, okay, so on Thursday when I do the show, I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I actually do and process the comments, and that is finalized by 8 in the morning Thursday morning, because then I come in here and we record the show. So you can send them in Thursday. You just have to do it before 8 in the morning. And literally, Susan was always on the often on the ball. We'd be communicating early on Thursday morning, so she would send them to me and get them up to right at as late as possible, which is 8 in the morning on Thursday. All right, Miss Gabby says, hello to the entire Rock family. First, I want to agree with the other member of the family who said, what a wonderful friend and colleague you have in Asif. Thank you, Asif, for being there for our friend. Big hug to you. Absolutely love the spectator look of the iridescent sphalerite specimen. Missed it, but was able to get the large amethyst geode sphere from last week. That's now the centerpiece of my sphere collection. Wow, great job. Great job there, and I'm glad that it will be the centerpiece of something of your amazing collection. And that other piece would have been perfect for you. It was truly stunning. Maybe, I hope, whoever got that comes out and lets me know, because that's been a special piece to Raven and I. And you know what? Here's something, well, a little sad, but it's just where it is. I saw her looking on her dresser where it used to sit. But believe me, just on the top of her dresser, she probably has, and it's not a big, no, it's not a dresser. What is it called when it dips down and you put your makeup on in front of it? See, my brain, she's not here to whisper it to me. You know, what ladies put their makeup on, that little kind of, Asif, help me out here. Yeah, you know, whether a woman puts her makeup on it, and the middle of it usually is lower than the side drawers, and there's a mirror in front of it. Come on, Dave. What is that called? That's like a dress. It's a makeup. I don't know, ladies. I'm gonna feel dumb because I'll remember in a moment. But anyway, makeup. Yes, bingo. Asif just got it. Thank you, because it bothers me. A vanity. So, yes. So it's a vanity, and she doesn't have the back mirror on the vanity. She took it off. So she just uses it for drawers and the countertop space. So there must be literally, 200 specimens on it. But that specimen was one of the bigger ones. And I'm looking at it, and when I took it, I rearranged the specimen so it wouldn't create a gap. And she's looking, and I had to go and distract her, because I really didn't want to go there if she realized that it was missing. And she was like looking like she knew something was missing or wrong, but she could not place it, and I'm glad of that. So anyway, believe me, that was not a gift I had given her. That was something that when we bought a collection of Peruvian specimens that we have so enjoyed, it was one that she just cherry-picked out of the collection. not even knowing it was triboluminescence. I didn't discover that until just the other day. And that's how she wound up with it. But she still thinks it's hers, and she got attached to it when it was on the businesses. But you know, they somehow don't realize that one is separate from the other. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this is good. Absolutely love the spectator look of the iridescent sphalerite. Love ocean jasper, and I've only seen you sell it one other time that I recall, and it was a cube that I got last year, one of my faves. I used my hollow druzy specimen as a nightlight in my bathroom. That little light bulb is so cute you're including with the one today. Oh, so you had gotten both of them. You're the one that got the other amazing one that had the light in it. And now, yeah, that little light bulb. I did not want to give that up with that piece, but I thought it was perfect for it when it fit perfectly inside it. It's like, okay, meant to be. Also was tempted by the Stalactite, but I refrained since I already have 3 from you. LOL. Best to you all, Miss Gabby. Well, thank you, Miss Gabby, for your support. And sorry you didn't get the one specimen. I wonder who did. Miss Elisa says, hello, GSN crew, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, and the Rock family. I'm so thankful to hear that the lovely Raven is doing better, and I can't wait for her to be healthy enough to come back and work with you, Professor. I'll continue to pray for y'all. Oh, I like that, y'all. Thank you for another great show with amazing items and information. I plan to watch your show again, as I didn't keep up with my notes. I got too distracted by looking at the specimens. However, well, listen to this. I got the trivia answers correct. Well, now, how do you know that? I like confidence. She says triboluminescence, boron, sulfide. Okay, so she did. Happy 4th of July, everyone, and stay safe, Miss Elisa. All right, Mr. Harry says, hi there, Shawn and Raven, and hi, everyone. I sure hope she is better, and she will be going on and on about back to work. Last email, I told you not to let her and take her with love. I bought the large spodumene, and I will get the other parcel as well. Worked on a piece before, but was not formed strong enough to be faceted, as it just kept fraying and chips. Next time it does that, Harry, alter the number of degrees off of the cleavage plane. So, in other words, if the cleavage plane in spodumene is multi-directional, so you want to make sure that instead of cutting it 7 degrees off of that flat plane, you cut it more like 10, 12, even upwards of 15 degrees off of parallel to the particular axis, and depending on the number of axes, like, calcite or rhodochrosites, they have perfect cleavage in all 3 axes. Still, you can cut it more off of, and stay away from any one of those axes. In the case of spodumene, it has a real strong cleavage in 2 different axes. Just cut it a little further off, and maybe it will help that issue for you. So let's see. Just fraying and chipped. Well, I got out of that. I sold a large piece and bought it right away. My question is, instead of cannibalizing a 266 carat piece of very clean rough to see the pink go away, why didn't you use a smaller one for experimental purposes? Okay, good question. In hindsight, Harry, I actually did not expect to get that amount. The sunlight was not directly on it. And I did not turn the black light on all that often. It got indirect light from the sun and occasional ultraviolet light. So I still think it did it. But it's been there for years, a number of years. So again, it should have been put in a darker environment, or one that's definitely not. But it glowed such a beautiful orange under fluorescent light. It was one of my favorites to turn the fluorescent light on, night light on, So, yeah, maybe I did cook it a little longer there, Harry. You would have had to bring that up, right? For experimental purposes. Because it was big and it showed up well. That's why. Anyway, I'm excited about this. Now I can can it be treated to get the color back? No, not in general, because I usually use radiation. But you know, I am going to try, and I'll put that in a controlled environment with my U-238, and I'll see if something doesn't happen. Okay, I got a kick out of you talking about your draw and all that with pronunciations, LOL. So let's see you come up with one. A fast one for triboluminescence. I dare you. A triple dog dare you. Not the triple dog dare. Surely not. You had an interesting one for birefringence. You heard that R now, right? I said it all along. Birefringence. Birefringence, so give it up. And no rewinding this one for the answer. It's really birefringence. Birefringence. But boy, do I have to slow down my talking to say that. And no rewinding this one for the answer. Use your notes. La, 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 la. Wow, Harry. 1/4 notes. Anyway, here and now, in all seriousness, make sure the doc takes at least one after photo of her lungs to make sure nothing is underneath the pneumonia like I had. Get well, Raven, and a special bunch of blessings for you, dear. Okay, I'm going to keep it short as the fishes are calling me and my rods are jumping around over there. Boy, that's one thing I like to do, or used to. Trivia, heck, Shawn, when I banged my head on the bathroom door last night, and you should have seen the triboluminescence. Sparks flew everywhere. Harry does have a sense of humor. And I didn't have a wintergreen lifesaver in my mouth, neither. Maybe it was pulling the Band-Aid off your head there, Harry. Yeah, it is boron von Danburite or Baron von Frankenstone. Boron being an uncommon element in them Danburite there. And lastly, 3, galena, pyrite, and phthalate all have a common element of a type of sulfide in each. Oh yeah, please don't bust me on spelling on the white asbestos stone being called crystallite. I misheard it as something like crystallite or some form of spelling, but I meant the same material. So how do you keep the poor horse still while sticking a part of his tail inside a garnet and lopping it off in there? Them are darn demantoids. Wow, Eric. Good question, but welcome to the South. Then he goes on to say, sorry, I forgot to say goodnight to everybody. See you soon. I'll be anticipating Raven getting better. God bless us one and all. Much love. Harry, the Genesis man. Peggy from South Carolina. Hello, Raven, Shawn, Gem Crew, and Rock family. I loved last week's show. I could see that you were so much more happy now that Raven was home and recovering. I wish her the best. We need her back to run the show. You need her to keep you straight. Yeah, you can. I will agree with you there. You mentioned that you were moving. I'm so sorry to hear that. I can't imagine that you are moving all those rocks and minerals. If you had a yard sale, please let me know. I live only 90 minutes away. Triboluminescent, boron, and the 3, well, close enough to the intent of sulfur. Sorry this was such a quick note. Got to get ready for the 4. Stay cool. Find your joy, Miss Peggy. No, the yard sale is right here because I don't do online selling ever, never, and can't anticipate that I ever will. And so this is the yard sale. You guys are the ones that are going to get the good stuff, all the stuff. Your choice first. And the other thing is by way of when I say move, it doesn't mean move, like to somewhere I wouldn't have this show. It means move within the vicinity so I can continue to be here. So don't worry about that one. Yeah, so we'll just see, of course, where that path takes us on that. Okay, so the winner is, since there was actually only a couple people that answered all 3 correct, let me see. Mr. Anthony opted out. We had Brad getting 2 out of 3. Let's see. Miss Gabby didn't participate this time. So we had Lisa got them all, and Harry got them all, and then Peggy got them all. And the winner is, this week, we have, congratulations, Harry. You are the winner. Let's show him what he won, and probably how perfect it is for him. Look at this. This is going to cost, remember I said we found the turquoise box, or, that Raven had put up somewhere, and all of a sudden I have turquoise. Here, another piece added to it. Look at this. This is a cool one, and this is one. Let's just go in on this one because this was part of it, and at some point I probably flattened the back as part of a cab, natural-looking cab. It actually has some pretty interesting little pyrite in it, and these are all from Western United States. I can't exactly say where this is. This is a nice big natural nugget. Has a hole already drilled there, so it could be adapted or left like it is. I love the natural look to these nuggets, as you can see, natural. And you know, on these, not sure any treatments, yes, no, don't know. They're just some that I've had, but turquoise is beautiful no matter what, provided it's not reconstituted. And you can, and if it's the natural nugget that you can see in these, like that. And by the way, when you see green turquoise, that can occur over time on the surface that can often be polished off if you have an estate piece, or it can even soak in deeper all the way into the turquoise over time, and oftentimes oil from your skin can cause that. But in natural turquoise in the ground, it is a higher content of iron, which can often lead to the green color. Okay, let me tuck these away. We'll be right back with the show. Now, next to David, this is probably the oldest thing you're going to see today. This is something I have not offered, I know, ever since doing the podcast, and maybe for some years before that. Agatized dinosaur bone. And when I was doing the live show, when we had the live show Monday nights, and I only reference that because of letting you know that some of this material, I can't just go out and replace at the same prices, because we're looking at a decade ago. We're looking at times, you know, when I made bigger purchases, and then, unbeknownst to me, or occasionally me, but mostly the Raven, she would go through the items and pick out some of the better ones and set them aside, and then they appear many years later on the credenza, on the nightstand, on a shelf. But it is because of that, and I've always said that for us, our savings account really and truly was in mineral specimens. And, you know, it wasn't savings expecting to make profit or anything, but I felt pretty certain that what I was paying for them then, I would never be able to get them less expensive at any point going forward. I also bought in quantity then, and remember, we would do shared sea freight shipments. I'm talking about those big containers that are held up on those ships. When you see those big metal containers, yes, it was one of those. And then separate crates within them. I myself, now in the one purchase, my portion was 12 crates that were the size of what a foot locker is at the end of a military bed, so quite a large size, and they were really cool. Each one with these little locks that you could have kicked off with your foot, but still, it was enough. And that's where I told you how well wrapped they were. They would be so well wrapped that there was absolutely no movement whatsoever inside it in the event of shifting on the sea. It took a process to clear customs in New York and all from the time the ship left, and it was at first the material was assembled in Pakistan, mostly Pakistan, and then put together, and I think out of Mumbai, but 6 months. So from that point of setting sail to the point of in my hand was, 6 month process. but the savings was insurmountable. I had no idea how much, as part of a cost of a specimen, savings were. So many things, now not this dinosaur bone, but so many things at the time I would find to be able to say, and because I had the ability to sell at a really high quantity, number of pieces, I was able to say, okay, that one slice is X number of dollars, but how much will you take for everything you have? And that is where the discounting would just, be so strong that it was difficult not to be able to say how much you want for everything more, many times. And because, it just helps everybody if you can sell everything at once. So yeah, discounts were prevalent on items like that. And it was only because of the strength and power of the number of clientele that gem shopping reaches is why I was able to do that. So whether it came from overseas in the sea freight savings deal, or whether it was because I could sell the quantity that allowed me to say, how much will you take for all of them? And is why I can bring you some things that are such a good value. Look at this. This is going to be the only one you're going to get. You're going to get a foldable stand. Look at that, huh? Adjustable. Now, look at this. Okay, so this side is polished, and it's not one of Shawn's spray polishes. It's a real polish. All right. Now, you can see the shape of the cross section. A lot of these bones, okay, see it's been sawn. A lot of these were belonged to the plant-eating dinosaurs, like the hadrosaur, the duck-billed one, the hadrosaur. And this piece, you can see, is not only silicified with quartz, but it is agatized. And with, of course, the red agate, when you call it agate or jasper, it's a cryptocrystalline quartz. And oftentimes, you would get, of course, like iron that would color the agate, just like in this dinosaur bone. Now, here's what sets this apart. What you often will see can be what is the bone marrow. When you get little, these little, well, you've seen what bone marrow looks like. It looks like porous lava. And it fills in those places, whether it's with silica or agate, but you can see that it is very silicified and agatized, and it's a beautiful shape to the cross section. These are usually the portion of a leg bones. Here's the back, and look at this. It even comes with a label. You can take the label off. It's not polished, but you still get to see it. And it says agatized dinosaur bone, Jurassic period, Moab, Utah. This is from the very famous Morrison Formation. And in this particular area where this came from, the age was around 110, 120 million years in age, and spans upwards of 150 million years ago. And a great look. This is a really nice high quality piece of leg bone. You can even see additional, sometimes you can see the replicated skin of, in other words, like the pattern of wrinkled surface skin on pieces as well. So take advantage of this one. It is a really, in the world of dinosaur bone, a really, really nice quality piece. And it will be the only one I'm going to have to offer you, and it's only $118. $118. Now, here is a little interesting footnote to the collecting of dinosaur bone. A lot of the bones and location of the bones were found because of the uranium prospecting boom in the 1950s, as we needed more and more material to make the atomic warheads that, of course, were first pretty much discovered in 1945. So it set off not a gold rush, but a uranium rush. And following that, it took a lot of the prospectors into a particular age of the Cretaceous period. And in the process of the metal detectors going off, they also went off when they hit Dinosaur Bone. Now, I, of course, having my Geiger, as Raven calls it, my Geiger counter, you guys have seen it, super accurate, amazing tool. I love it very much. But so I have already checked this out, and yes, it does have a stronger than ambient reading, but only by about twice as much. So it reads about 100 counts per minute or whatnot. But if you are prospecting and you're going across sand and desert and you're getting in the 30 to 50 CPM range and all of a sudden it goes up, it would be a point that you would stop and explore that area a little more, because a foot or two underneath could be a uranium vein of other uranium minerals, or it could be a discovery of a huge area of dinosaur bones, and often leading to more money than otherwise. So that's just a neat little side note to how some amazing discoveries were made back in a period of time that a lot of different bones and a lot of different collecting sites weren't known. Okay, now let's get going here. I love talking about this stuff, but I need to get going. I need to be able to see 106-8922, 106-8922. Now, let's look at this smaller piece. I do, and am offering a bigger one. Okay, so now, remember, we already covered some ground, but we're going to call it lapis for a very long time, because technically, though, there is no lapis. It is actually a sulfur-dominant aween, and but of course, habit is a difficult thing to break. This is one of the really nice, high-quality pieces. It has yellow fluorescent calcite. So if you even don't get it for the cutting of it, because you can see no sides of this piece have been sawn. This is actual, just natural, the natural vein to it. And the one way you can tell, you still have the surface calcite on both sides, and that will glow, especially down here as well, an incredible fluorescence. That'll fluoresce beautifully. But the quality of the lapis in this piece is in the world-class range, because I like a little bit of pyrite personally, but some of this is so high quality it doesn't even have pyrite, and it certainly won't have the value diminishing calcite to much extent. Look at this. Look at this rich, rich color. That's what you want to see. And this is just a surface rind. This piece, this actually, Miss Ursula, when you're thinking about putting that pyramid on something, a beautiful little slice of, or a piece of lapis would be a very attractive base also. This is just naturally level on both sides. Look at the pyrite through here, though. Isn't that pretty? This piece, only $24. Only $24. You can see how big it is. You can see how thick it is. You can easily, if you're a cutter, run a blade right down through the middle, or just polish off one surface side. It's a great size for carving. You could also remove the calcite and put it in your fluorescent collection if you'd like. there is some other minerals on the end here as well, which you can explore as to what they are also. But beautiful, beautiful piece there for only $24. And yeah, that is a lot of very valuable lapis for not a lot of money. Now, let's go to the other piece I was going to show you. That's item 1068822. 1068822. Now, again, we're talking about a world-class piece, and I'm just wetting it to give you the look of what it would look like polished. Look at that. Yeah, that's a big piece of lapis in one solid piece. And here again you can see this area, and if we go in closer on here, you'll be able to see that oftentimes it's not just calcite. There's a couple of different minerals, and marrowite is one of them. Wow, look at that. Oh yeah, we are definitely talking about a different mineral there with as strong a yellow and green as I am looking at. I should have actually looked at this a little more, and probably why I hadn't sold it before. There is a reason, and someone else is going to get the advantage of it. So look at this, look at this. Yeah, so anyway, all you have to do is go and look for associated minerals with lapis from this particular location, which is the Song mine, where almost all the lapis comes from. This would slice into stunning, stunning slices of very high grade material. This is another crystal. You can actually see the shape to it. You can see the very straight lines. It also has crystals within a crystal. Wow. Okay, so I know I saw something special in this, and this was not one that I had intended to sell, as I am recalling now. Beautiful calcite marble, basically crystallized limestone in a lot of cases. There's a lot going on. This would fluoresce something crazy. This greenish yellow material, you saw how crystalline it is, quite different. And I would love to have had more time to spend, and I could have easily figured out what that is. Okay, so that will be someone else's good fortune. $88. $88 for the entire piece. And that is, in the world of lapis and value, a great opportunity indeed. Okay, now, next, since we're kind of talking about some carving material in lapis, and of course there's some there's another opportunity I have here. This is item 1068522. 1068522, and as soon as I can get this to scan, let me probably have to type. There we go. Okay, now look at this jewel, and I had saved this with the intent in mind of carving it. This is Bahia, Brazil emerald, and it is an incredible emerald crystal. Look at that shape. This would be one, there's multiple things as a cutter you could do. You could take some thin slices off of them, drill them, and make dangling earrings without ever having to solder at all. The other thing, it's a great piece to work with in carving it. Let me show you really the kind of color and translucency that you're looking at here. Look at that. I mean, that picture, if you were lighting this and you had found it at a mine, and whether it's North Carolina or somewhere there's emerald, I mean, the sense of joy and value that you would feel like you had found would be immense. That would be quite a incredible discovery, you know, as a prospector, as a rock hound. Look at that. Thank you, sir. That is a that the light goes passing all the way through it, and it's just the simple flashlight passing all the way through it. So it very, very opaque. I mean, very, very translucent, and a fantastic color. And whether you just kept it as a specimen with your barrel collection, that is certainly emerald. That's not barrel by any means. That is a wonderful classic emerald crystal. Okay, I have an excellent opportunity on that. So many people would attribute a lot of value to that piece just because it's emerald, and rightfully so. But again, if you saw how many emeralds I bought at the time, I am passing these savings on. Price on this, and always have with you, $44. $44. So yeah, that would be more like $144 because I think people attribute a lot of value to emerald, the three kings, and you know, I understand that, but that's why you guys get all the bargains, because you're family. All right, let me take a moment, pause, and put some things up. Okay, of all the different names for minerals, specimens, or different minerals, crystals, rocks, whatnot, this has to be one of my favorite and most most intelligent name for a specimen. It has to be in the top 10. Calcite, because the spelling of it gives you the information of the elements contained within. Ca for calcium, Va for vanadium, and Si for silicon. So Calcite, great name. And of course, Calcite is the blue mineral. The other, stilbite, which you're very familiar with. Stilbites, remember how to spot them. They look like a little pointed arrow at the end of them. Oftentimes, the Calcite crystals associated with the stilbite are those little tiny crystals that are difficult to see. Not in the case of this one. Look at that. Look at how perfect the stilbite is. So we'll look at the stilbite. Look at how large these stilbites are versus really tiny ones in most of the other Calcite specimens. You can see a few of them down here. Let me get my pointer out instead of my finger. So down in there. Oh, there we go. That was just something from something else. All right, now, as we look at the Calcite crystals, let me show you something special about them. Not only is the Calcite in this piece, look at that detail. Special because it's a large cluster. Many times you can see these little smaller areas of Calcites. That's how often what you get. But this is a large cluster of crystals. But there's something else. There is a additional growth of stilbite crystals on these. You can see some of the other clear crystals here I'm pointing at. And you can see a smaller one back there coming right off of the Calcite. So yeah, these little clear white crystals are separate additional secondary growths of stilbite. And then, yeah, when you look all over, even there's stilbite that has grown and formed over the Calcite. Here, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the other side. This is often how you see the stilbites associated with this type of specimen. They're these little tiny crystals. So this one has the large ones associated with the Calcite, and then on the back side, it has the little small ones. That's beautiful. It's really a double-sided specimen because, wow, that really shows the crystals. Look at how they sparkle, so you can really pick them out. I'm not sure where it was actually attached. The attachment point, maybe here, but then that would have been a pretty flimsy attachment point. Oh, look at back underneath there. There is, so this, look at this, see this crystal? This is one crystal held in place by a stand, so to speak, of Calcite. And then look at this other crystal of Calcite growing in the opposite direction and quite large. Look at that. So you have a doubly terminated stilbite crystal nestled in place with Calcite. And then as we come along here, look at this. Look at this bridge, this crystal bridge going across there of stilbite. There are so many places to explore. Look at this. This is a crystal you haven't even seen. And look at that formation with, again, it is overtaken a stilbite. There is so many places to explore in a specimen. And that's what I like. I like specimens where it takes time to look at it, to learn about it, to study it. Look at this on the end. Look at how that stilbite protrudes with Calcites right at the tip of the arrow. That's one of the largest specimens because most of the ones you see are about that big. This is a very large overall crystal-sized cluster of Calcite and stilbite. Now, opportunity right here, because I'm going to actually put this on sale. It is a 4th of July sale on some particularly favorite specimens of ours. And you know why? I am putting this on 4th of July special. I wonder if any of you can figure out why. It has 2 out of the 3 colors of Old Glory. It has the blue and the white. That sounds like a good enough reason to me. You are sick. See, this is the guy that loves me. You know what Asif just said? He said, stab yourself with one of the stilbites and you'd have all 3 colors. That's love. That's love, you know? That really would complete my Made in America collection right there. And that is, what do they say? One for the team. Take 1 for the team there. Oh, wow. You know, he only says that because he's watched me with the gemstone knives in the live show cut myself 3 different times. It would be where I would just put my right arm out behind me as the girls had to bandage me because, of course, I had to keep talking. The show went on. And yeah, 3 different times. And showing how sharp the blade was. Talk about someone, short on, some rocks that day in my old noggin. But yeah, those blades were really sharp. In this case, I've learned a little bit over time. So we have 2 out of the 3. That is good enough for, let's say, okay, so it's 118, 20, sounds like a 20% discount. That's 80% of $118 that I offered it last. So round that to 120 and round down, $95. Making it $95 sale price. Now, even though it wasn't technically made in America, it does have 2 of the 3 colors because this, of course, some of the finest come from the Wagoli quarry in India. And it sounded like a real good reason to put it on sale. So let's complete that other color. And let's go to another continent to do it. 106-8422. 106-8422. I have right now another incredible piece. And you know what? I am going to include a stand with this because here it is. We have the color red. And wow, I didn't have to even cut myself to make this ruby red. look at this is really beautiful. Okay, so remember I talked about reflection or sheen. One of the things you look at it. Okay, you see when this whole crystal at the same time on one plane gets that little reflection. There we go. See that across the entire piece. If you had this elongated, and you can see it reflecting right here and in a bigger way, then that is often indicative of a potential, there we go, you can see that reflecting right there, of what you look for a potential star in a piece of ruby or corundum. Now, this, of course, we have green zoisite. The black we know now is pargasite. This is an actual crystal. You can see that there's hardly any of the green and black around it. It is almost all ruby. And I actually sliced this off of the piece of rough. So I didn't spray my fake polish on it, but you can see well that reflection to it. Kind of neat. This is a thick piece. If you want it drilled, I'll drill it for free. So you can just hang it in the window if you want. And look at this, even as thick as it is, look at that color coming through. So it shows you that there's still a good transparency to the corundum, the ruby, being that thick. That would make a great display. You know, ladies, if you don't have that sprayed enamel or don't want to mess with that, you know, you have acetone. And I say that because that's what you need in case you mess up. If you wanted to literally take clear nail polish, not only would it fill in some of the porous areas, but it would give you that really nice, wet, thick, painted look. So there's many ways, and it's removable as well. There's many other ways that you can interact with your specimens that you get from me. And, you know, I don't want to do all the neat work. Maybe you didn't want the kind of finish I put on the surface or whatnot. This, you can actually, what they do on flat laps, they'll actually attach like a lead weight, even a fishing weight to the other side of these so that they have weight. And then they'll put them on this pad that vibrates and has grit and then polish. And that's how they get everything from bookends to thin slices polished like that using a flat lap polishing machine. And that's how it's done. Big slice, opportunity price. And I rhymed, didn't I? So here you go. Ready? $38. Only $38. I am not kidding you. That has so much more bang for the buck than $38. Okay, next item. And this one, well, not going to be another. 1067922. 1067922. I don't even think that they make these or carve these anymore. And, you know, of course, Raven and I love dragons, always have. We like the mystical side of the whole thing. Now, we like the European medieval dragons, but our heart lies, of course, with more of the original dragon, which was the Chinese or the Asian dragon that was or Japanese, also the protectorate of the emperor and empress. And of course, the dragons that you see when they celebrate the Chinese New Year and whatnot, going down the street, that are 30 or 40 feet long and multiple different people inside with sticks that make them move and dance and all. You notice they never have any wings. So only wings were added to the dragon, I think, to make it look scarier or whatnot, sometime during the Middle Ages. I'm not sure the whole history of it, but I know it's not their history to the origin of the dragon, because the original dragon had no wings. But it does make for a cool looking dragon to have the wings, as in this example. Check this out. Yes, it is incredible British Columbian nephrite jade. And Wow, look at that. Look at that. Terrifying. All carved out of, let's see, yeah, look at this. Even the wings, carved out of one solid piece of jade. Yeah, so you got to watch that in carvings and whatnot. It makes a difference in value. And as we come in close and show you this, yep, and as we show you, you can see there's no seam, there's no area where it was pinned in to it. So imagine carving this out and carving through this and doing everything you can to make them symmetrical and even and not break them off. And that's why the easy way to do it is to carve them separately and then pin them on or epoxy them on, but that's not what's been done with this one. So you can see the hands. Arr! You could be clever and put some type of other crystal through those. It has on a wooden base and a really excellent price because I don't even know what we paid for it or what we have in it, and I don't think we can get any more of those. So I figure what better price than to offer it at an auspicious number to the Asian world and say only $88. $88 on that guy. Of course, I could have said 77 and made it auspicious for the Western America, but we didn't have anything to do with a dragon. All right, that is just a couple of the unusual little things. I have some of the best yet to come, but I better get to spinning my wheels and showing you, or you're gonna miss out. Now, okay, that said, let me pause a moment here and get the other items organized. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm sure you were wondering when I said last week, and then as part of the trivia gift being turquoise, I said that, you know, we found the turquoise stash that Raven hid. And so as part of that stash, of course, we would have put up some of our own personal choices out of that Sleeping Beauty turquoise that all of you have wanted to for me to part with some more of. Well, I didn't think I had any more, so I only set aside some personal pieces. Well, in this batch of turquoise we found, well, yeah, so there was some more Sleeping Beauty. That came from that same original batch that Miss Raven put up her own portion, which was fine because she totally forgot where, and she put it, and the fact that we even had it. All right, look at these. I'm not gonna take them all out because I don't wanna pick them all up, but what is different that we have never been able to offer before are the beads. Look at these. We'll just take you in close real quick for one moment because they're not drilled, but you don't need to drill them. There actually a couple of them are cabochons, as you can see there. But other than that, look at that. There's another cab there. So small cabs and completely formed round beads that haven't been drilled. Look at that. Look at the really nice quality. Of course, Sleeping Beauty. And one of the ways, of course, always you can tell is when you see lighter areas of color in the turquoise that if it would have been dyed or anything like that, it would have filled in that portion. Thing about Sleeping Beauty is it is such a non-porous turquoise. It's a very, very dense turquoise. Most turquoise, it is so dry and porous, if you stuck your tongue to it, it would literally stick. I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. Especially in the rockhound days as a rockhound. I mean, rockhounds, not so much anymore, they do that, but licking it, you know, you're out of water, you just lick the specimen, I know. so back then, and I remember licking a piece of turquoise, and wow, it was like in wintertime putting your tongue on a frozen pole. It was that dry, and yeah, I never did that again. So, but this kind of turquoise, it takes such a high polish because of that density, and it is no treatments to this material, like 99.99% of all other turquoise. Great stuff, great stuff. I'm willing. Look at this. There's matched rounds. There's matched ovals. So there's a couple pairs, all the fun little beads. This is old stock from the 90s or even older. And price on it, yeah, take advantage of it because, again, I don't know if I'm going to release any more. Price on it, ready, set, $58 is it. $58. And you know what? I went to a very well-known competitor, basically almost in a way, not in jewelry. We have no other competition in the world of jewelry, but in some of the gemstones and gems. And you know what? Treated, and I was going to show you, but I said no. I'm not going to use another well-known TV sites offerings to make my stuff look better. My stuff is great on its own, but I can tell you this: comparable cabochones, one single cabochon that is stated, and I have to hand it to for them, that they are treated, but they are treated with this process that is not like just the old regular turquoise treatment. So I think they have developed a really neat process if you're going to treat your turquoise. And so, yeah, their Sleeping Beauty turquoise was even, and I have to hand it to them for disclosing it, but even treated with a special treatment. And a cabochon this size or in the oval, literally for one cab, depending on exactly which size it would be in the range of $88 to $118 for one. And that's why when I say that and have that kind of information, it kind of makes me wonder why I sell things for what I do. But that's because you guys are going to continue long-term support and, yeah. All right. Let me tuck that away, and I'll be right back. Okay, now, remember I said that Raven loves amethyst, and we have an amethyst collection that we haven't brought many different items in. Now, this is a fantastic piece. It would be a lot more expensive, but I really actually cut the price probably more so than I should, because I noticed a lot of the Brandenburg amethyst out of Namibia, maybe because many grow all the way across the pocket and the other side hits the opposite side of where they're growing. And then any little bit of earth movement will cause the terminations to chip. And then oftentimes, depending on the miner and his ability to remove specimens, can damage a lot of specimens. But this, you'll see, okay, so I'm going to show you the worst part first. And of course, it does matter in, especially the serious crystal world, that there's a little bit of chip there. But, you know, in looking at other specimens, you notice that even there, that is the highest point. So if there was a pocket and this was growing in this direction, that could easily be the reason, especially then when I saw so many others that oddly were beautiful crystals, but many of the very top part of the terminations were chipped. So, hey, you know, I'll never really know the reason, always why, but oftentimes, even pearls, large pearls, South Sea pearls, when you see a blemish, they might be perfect, but there'll be a little blemish on the opposite end of where the pearl had grown from. And it's because they grew all the way to the other side of the shell. Okay, so let me show you. Now, this is a phantom. And as Asif can take us in here, and let me see if I can show you the phantom growth to it. Of course, Brandenburg is famous for its phantoms. And in this case, here we go. You can see the zoning that tells you that it is a phantom. There we go. And as I turn this, you'll be able to look at that. See the different colors through it. And then we're taking a tour also at all the other quartz crystals that surround this one single amethyst. Look at this. It's even impaled by another crystal here. Let me get a pointer and show you as we come right into here. Let's see what's going on right there. Because, look at that. Look at that. Wow, the amethyst has grown and wrapped itself around that crystal. Now, they're also famous for anhydros. I did not check this for an anhydro bubble. There very well could be. Look at this. Look at this. Other crystals. And so, okay, so here's what I'm talking about. Let's say you have a crystal and the largest area opening is from this side to this side. Well, you can see right here that they can only grow so far before they will hit the other side of the opening, and thus often causing a situation because, okay, it may stop growing at that point, but it only takes a little bit of a shift, very slight earthquake or whatnot in the region. Of course, it's geologically active, and that's what happens. Now, this has been sawed across the bottom, and you can see additional quartz veining there. All these pockets will have crystals in them. This is a beautiful piece, even with that situation. And there's also a well-defined phantom in there that you can finish looking at for yourself. Price on this, you won't believe it, $58. Only $58. And that is an absolutely incredible look for such a little bit amount of money in that case. Now, I have a real showstopper here. One of our favorite amethyst pieces. Item 1069122. 1069122. This was every time we went to a wholesale show or whatnot, we'd always treat ourselves to a specimen that we buy together. And this was one of them one year. And so, it wasn't a gift to individual one. It was one we just had gotten for ourselves together. We thought so much of it. We loved it. And now we're going to share it with all of you. Look at that pocket of rich color amethyst. Now look at that. Could you imagine stepping over that rock as you're walking along? This, and then never knowing what was inside of it. The thing I like about this, you don't see any unnatural saw cuts. You can see this was just a natural where they took the geode and cracked it in half and then polished the edge, making it so much more natural looking, I guess, that way. Also, they didn't fill the back with plaster of Paris, and often they do that to support it or whatnot, because it has a nice, thick, natural agate layer for support, and you can see by the nice polish to that. This one, if you're clever, you could always drill it and put a little light in the back, things like that when you, like Miss Gabby's husband, John, he is obviously, after doing that turquoise table, pretty much tells me he can do, I would call him a master lapidary and woodworker on that one. But this, look at that. That goes way deep in there. Rich, rich colors, and it was just something that we had never really seen before that was, that we found just strikingly beautiful. Oh, there might be a calcite back in there even. I was wondering about that. And also, hold on, just so you can look at it, because we don't have time to look at it now, but let me go right in here, and I saw right back around in there, there was a little reddish area. There we go. See that area right there? A little bit of a reddish area. That, if I were you, I'd leave that for exploration. A little golden reflection there. Never know what you might find. Okay, price on this. I never remember what I paid, but I know that for only $118, it's got to be an excellent value for somebody. $118. And out of all the different amethyst and amethyst geos pieces that we saw, for the size and the unusual look and the rich color against some of these classic little small sawed open, filled in with plaster that's been dyed a greenish blue color on the back side, those kind of things, I will take a natural look like this any day over something like that. Now, what I'm getting ready to show you is there's no two that I have, or even a small one. This is going to be one tough to give up, but it is going to go to a great home. I want to know who winds up with this one. 106-8022. 106-8022. And one second here. And this, what I'm getting ready to show you, you probably have may not have ever seen anything quite like it, and it may actually be a new mineral for your collection. It is, and that new mineral, it would be called turgite. Now, while I put this, I'll talk a little more as I set this up. Okay, so turgite is, they recognize, it's a recognized name. Some people use it incorrectly. Let me show you the specimen in reference to it. Look at this. I am talking about, what I'm showing you has got to be what you may see as the finest iridescent Graves Mountain goethite and turgite specimen you have ever seen in your life. This, yeah, it looks like a lake there, doesn't it? It looks like a lake. Look at that lake. Look at the rainbow colors. This specimen has every type of formation that you would hope. The botryoidal formation. It has the flat rainbow colors in a incredible linear, flat formation like that. It does look like a lake. Look at that. Look at these colors. Graves Mountain, Georgia has some of the finest, but those specimens have not been seen in a long, long time. This is from an estate I had gotten a good deal of time ago. You just don't see these. And let me get my pointer. This is a remarkable in every way. Look at how the colors graduate in, pretty much following the iridescence of a prism. Look at this, purples, reds, yellows. And as we come, look at this, as we come along here, let me show you. Then we get into the little stalactite and formations. Look at these. Look at that. Have you ever seen anything like this? These are all natural colors, every bit of it. And as I'm coming around the outside edge, it just gets better and better. Look at that intense iridescence. I actually was able to even wash this off in water, and it affected the colors none. In other words, I took a chance. Now, acid, yeah, it might do it, but I knew I wanted to get all the dust off of it because we have so enjoyed this. Sunlight doesn't affect it. No, this is the way it formed in the ground and oxidized in the ground. Look at these. Look at this. I checked it. It absolutely has no radiation to it. It has completely safe. Okay, so turgite is a combination of goethite and hematite. Now, it is, over the years, has become more defined by collectors as iridescent goethite hematite combination. So, because, wow, look at this. this is one of probably the most attractive iridescent specimen of its kind I have ever seen. It is a world-class piece. Look it down in there. And it is from my Made in America collection. This is red, white, and blue. You can see the quartz. There's the associated quartz. And of the other fluorescent goethite specimens from around the world, nothing compares. You have some that are mostly and look like a stalactite. This has the combination of all of it. Stalactite, botryoidal. Now I'm putting it on a side that you haven't seen. As we come out from this a little bit, maybe you'll be able to kind of see where I'm at on the piece. Okay, there we go. Now, okay, so we were just looking at the lake. Look at this, see the lake? We are all the way past the quartz around towards what would be considered the back. But it certainly doesn't lack for color either. All right, now let me show you. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, so you can get an idea of where we are on the specimen. Well, pretty much any way you want to display this, it is going to be stunning. So look at that. I have been in hot springs formations like in the South Island of New Zealand, the North Island of New Zealand, and this reminds me of a hot spring pool because along the edge with the different chemicals that the hot springs bring up, you get some beautiful colors in the minerals, but nothing that comes close to the intensity and the vividness. Look at the purples in there. Oh, down here. Look at these. These are the, as part of the specimen, the stalactite. This piece could even be named, different areas of it be named, like the lakeside pool area, or the stalactite area in here. Look at that. The water, the blue waterfall area. This is, as far as beauty, we rank this in probably the top 5 of all of our pieces for being for the beauty of it. So turgite, again, a name that refers to iridescent hematite or goethite. Okay, so let me show you a couple things about this to consider. This area here, all right, now, Graves Mountain is well known for rutile. There could definitely be rutile as part of this specimen, but as we come in closer, let me show you what I feel like is more of a hematite part of it. Look at that really neat open cavity. So some of this red you can test and see if it's softer or harder, whether it being rutile or not. Now, some of the just straight up hematite that is not iridescent, if I go to the pond, let's, Dave, if you'll take us right to the edge here. You see this black layer right there? I think that could be hematite. Of course, right on top of it, it becomes iridescent hematite or turgite. So some of the black here, I think, could be just straight hematite, especially if it gets into some of the black and reddish hues, that could be the hematite. Of course, you can see the quartz. This area, the reddish area, you need to check to see if you can find any crystal faces or check the hardness of it for whether it is more friable hematite or whether it is hard enough to possibly be rutile. But there is, for certain, no other specimen I have seen that even in these other fancy specimens, they don't have the range of colors or formation. And then Then, if you actually look at some of the sizes of them, they may look good, big in a picture, but when you actually get to figuring out how big they are in millimeters and converting to inches, they're not large. They're not large. This is actually what's considered as a small cabinet size quality. You look at, there's something quite crystalline you can see there. There's much left to be explored on this. And again, if it gets dusty, take my word for it, it was completely able to be immersed in water and rinsed off, and even take in a soft brush to it. So let me see here. I know the clock is running out on me, but I wanted to get this in here, and I wanted to show you, because I brought, here it is. I brought what I referred to last week as a great cleaning tool. This is, of course, for dental use, and you can get them for dental supply. So you see these little brushes, and these are totally bendable in every way, and they're really soft. So you can, even not using water, get into places and dust them or clean them out. So I highly recommend you have some of these. And for those of you that have the adjustable Dremel tools, or even like the tool I brought in and showed you that's battery operated, you can do your toenails with. You can actually cut, if these come in a pack of a whole bunch, they're not expensive. You can actually cut portions of this off, whatever area that would fit into that battery-powered spinning unit. It's like a little spinning motorized, and not necessarily use it on a specimen like this until you got practice on exactly how and what you do for use. But you can also use it to put different polishes on and get down and into hard to reach places. And this brush, in conjunction with water paste polishing compounds like cerium oxide or Lindy A or aluminum A, you can polish things with it. All right, this doesn't need a thing done to it. I did it all. It is stunning. There's only going to ever be one like it. It is absolutely museum quality in its beauty and rarity. And the price I have on it, I don't even know. I could not find anything even remotely similar to be able to compare pricing or whatnot. I just know that for what it is and the rareness of it, that a price of only $244 is an exceptional value. Exceptional value. There's nothing else like it. Take us one more time in here, Dave, if you would, or and let's just look at how stunning the colors. Look at this, how nothing is lacking for iridescence. The sparkling nature of the crystals above the flat pond of colors. Look at that. The botryoidal formations. Yeah, it does look good fishing right there. Look at that. Look at the copper reds. This is goethite and hematite, so it's an iron oxide base, but no telling with all the different oxides present. You get the entire rainbow of colors. Look at that. Look at the sparkles coming down there. Look, there is nothing else like it that I have ever seen for iridescence in a piece like that. Look at the caverns. It looks like miniature mammoth caverns, except on a Lilliputian scale, but of color. Look at back in there, of colors that you have never seen anything like it before. And there's the other outside of the pond. Look at the colors there. It just is mesmerizing. I mean, it's one of those things that you can just look at and look at and look at and look at and look at. There won't be another one like it. All right, another item. As the clock ticks away, 106-8122. 106-8122. That's the thing about these amazing specimens is, you know, to show them right and so you know what you're getting, it takes a little more time. This is not your everyday pyrite. All right, for one, it's cabinet quality size. It's cabinet quality for the crystals, but that's just where it starts. This is Peruvian. It is from the Wansala mine, which you already know is famous for producing some of the world's most prolific mine by way of tonnage in specimens. Yeah, as we get closer, you see green. But then, as you look a little closer, you see some clear crystals here and green. Let me just explain them or the clock will run out on me. There's calcite crystals that are all over this specimen, little tiny white calcites. I have not, the green is in association with those calcites. So right there, what you're seeing are calcite crystals that it appears to me that just like gem silica gets its color by copper ions bleeding from chrysocolla, the calcite has gotten its green color, I think, from another copper mineral bleeding the ions into the calcite. And you're going to see greens throughout. Now, look at the calcite crystals, but look at that. You have this. Okay, so someone like Brad, let me tell you what I did. I went to the closet. Went to the closet with my short wave, long wave, ultraviolet light. This crystal, this piece fluoresced under long wave. I have to remember what it is. Okay, as you would expect, you can see the cube shape. These are fluorites. These are fluorites. Now, it was stunning because it fluoresced all purple under long wave, as you would expect a clear fluorite might. But under short wave, it reflected a green fluorescence with a purple core. A purple core. Okay, let's keep moving on this as we travel around it. Let's come right up here and let me just show you so you can decide. Now, barite is found in the mine. There are some blades here, but this is very friable. It's a very soft mineral. It could actually be cleaned out if you wanted and removed, but I didn't do it. I'm going to leave it to you. So I'm thinking there might be some water-soluble type of mineral or a water-soluble, friable barite maybe, or type calcite. There's only a couple pockets of that. No telling what's underneath. This could be the product of oxidation from something that's underneath it, leaving it for you to discover. If it was going to stay mined, I would probably clean that out and find out, because it's not that attractive as to what that is. Okay, so now, as we keep looking around on this, there are, like right here, a number of, look at that, okay, of fluorites. And they're all actually all over. There's, once you get to looking for them, there's green fluorites scattered throughout. And here's the other thing. The mine does not list malachite as one of the minerals found there. So the green is not attributed to oxidation and a conversion to malachite of anything. So that kind of shot me down there in studying it. Now, let me go to the surface, let's say right here. All right, you're going to see on the surface, see these little black crystals? Once you start noticing them, they are peppered throughout. Those are little sphalerite crystals. Little sphalerite crystals. Often way down in these pockets, you're going to get calcites. There's calcite. Look at it, tucked underneath there. calcites. Pretty much the green is a way to find the calcites, because it seems the calcites have picked up the green. Okay, what's this? Okay, here we go. Right there where my, below here. Right there. Oh, another fluorite. And a good way to find the fluorites, the ultraviolet light. They'll glow purple. Look at back in there. I didn't even get the light out. I didn't want to know if I was selling it. But there might be something really cool. That's a creepy looking cave. I mean, you know, I'm going a little pollution scale, but to me, okay, look at the green side of the hill there, which in a small world, it's a hill, right? These are, look at that. You can actually see they're well-defined calcite crystals. And additional pockets to be discovered as to what's in them. You also have several different forms of pyrite. And then let me flip it all the way over and look at the back. Look at the back. This just is stunning, because let's go right here. Oh yeah, we're not through. There is a myriad of quartz crystals. Look at all those. This is a stunning double-sided piece. Look at all the quartz crystals on this. Look at them all. There are minerals on this that I can guarantee you I did not discover everything that's here. There is, look at, these are all fully formed quartz crystals. There are plenty of other discoveries yet to be made. What you do is you look up mindat.org, you go find the, look at, oh yeah, where am I? Here we go. Look at way back down in that opening. That is remarkable. That is really deep. I see an incredibly formed quartz crystal down in there. Look at, I see some yellow crystals. What in the world are those? No telling what else. Look at that. It just keeps going back in there. That's where you get the headgear out. That's where you get the lights. Look at that. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. As I run out of time, this piece is probably the finest and most remarkable pyrite specimen I've ever had. And by weight, it's very heavy. 23, so what is that, 4 pounds or so, something like that? Yeah, heavy piece. Price on this, only $188. Only $188. Excellent value for you. And let me see real quick if well, anything else I have? Yeah, I have one last quick item to show you. And just so you know that it's the last item of the show, we have item 1068322. And this is as part of the Made in America collection. We have to end the 4th of July weekend on something made in the old USA. The Wawa Mountains of Utah and the Thomas Range. We get Bixbite from, red barrels from Utah. Can you believe that? Utah, who would have thought? And also we get topaz. Look at that. Look at that. Well, to me, natural color imperial topaz. Close enough. Look at that, how large that topaz crystal is. And no telling what else is always on the inside of this. You can practice your specimen preparation if you have a Dremel and pull back some more of the rhyolite if you want, exposing these. Look at the color to that. This is made in America. Great item to end the show on this holiday. And the price, it is a discounted American sale price, just like America loves their sales. $48. $48. Imagine what that would actually sell for if you were out in Utah at a rock shop and you went in and wanted to buy a representative crystal specimen from their local mountain. I can guarantee you'd be adding $100 or more to that piece. Be right back with trivia. Okay, so I know on the spur of a moment, many of you haven't seen this before. I didn't realize it, but my hair was getting in the way of the microphone. So if you've never seen me with my hair or short hair pulled back, now you have. Normally something I wouldn't let you see, but we're family, aren't we? Okay, so being the holiday, I don't want to hold anybody up if they're getting out early. We have such a great support team. So let me shoot these questions to you quick. Question number 1. Ready? And these are easy because you know what? It's the 4th of July weekend and I'm taking it easy on you. Name 2 well-known gems. 2 well-known gems that are mined in Utah. Right? Okay. That's question number 1. Question number 2. What element caused a rush in the sense of like a gold rush, but it wasn't gold this time? What element caused that kind of rush in Utah and other parts of the American West in the 1950s? That's it. Simple. Easy peasy, right? All right. Happy holiday. Happy 4th of July. All of you, be really safe. Appreciate all your kind words regarding Raven. I will certainly pass them on to her. Take advantage of the items that I have featured for you. And don't think to save your funds for the next week because something might be better. No. Get what you want now because they're items that you may never get a chance to get again at these kind of opportunities. That Calcite specimen and the information I gave you behind it, I bet you never thought you'd see something like that. Not many people will. And with that, I'm going to let the team start their day or holiday if they're not working tomorrow. Other than that, I'm going to wrap the things up, get home to Raven, get back to making sure that she continues the healing process. God bless all of you. Stay safe, and I'm going to see you next week.